very special feeling whenever a game leaves you awestruck and almost empty inside, knowing that the amazing story experience is finally coming to an end. You've gone through this incredible journey with these characters that you knew very little of at the beginning. You've gone through all the struggles, trials, and tribulations with them. Even though they're not real people, the emotions and connections you made feel real nonetheless. You feel as if you've grown alongside with them. All their hardships, I felt them. All their tears, I cried with them. All their laughs shared, I laughed along with them. So when the credits begin to roll, and the finality of it all really begins to sink in, you begin to realize that when one journey ends, the memories you made stay forever. Hello everyone, my name is Fedro and this is Cozy Fedgy, and on this channel we cover a variety of things such as Let's Plays, JRPGs, and all things cozy gaming. So recently I finished Final Fantasy 16, and by the time this video goes up, it had been a week since I beat the game. So I've had time to really sit with my thoughts and let them cook for a bit. Now for me, the world of Final Fantasy is a franchise I'm somewhat familiar with. I have some games in my collection and I've watched a few Let's Plays of some entries, but I've never played one on my own. So when Final Fantasy 16 was announced, I was definitely curious, but not completely convinced to play it. But as trailers began to reveal bits of the world and the characters, my intrigue only grew. And after playing the demo, I was completely sold. Now I know I was being a bit melodramatic with my opening, but it was my fun way of saying that I loved the game. Going into the game as a complete Final Fantasy newbie was an interesting experience because I had some expectations going into it. Many JRPG or RPG fans hold this series very dear to them, so I knew I was in for a treat, but I was not expecting to be left in an emotional mess and possibly my game of the year. Now I'm fully aware that this game has been very divisive and many are not claiming it to be a true Final Fantasy. But as a newbie to the franchise, I'm honestly glad I had nothing to compare it to and that I got to enjoy it for what it was. A beautiful game with a world you want to know more about, a captivating narrative, and characters to fall in love with. I personally can't say if this game is a good Final Fantasy game, but what I can say is that there's valid criticisms and arguments to be made about this game. But some of the discourse has gone a little out of hand and kind of crazy. I want to make it known that for me and my gameplay experience, I prioritize an engaging story over anything. The gameplay can be phenomenal, which this game's combat is, but if the story isn't compelling enough, I don't want it. But thank God this game has both. Final Fantasy 16 is set in the fictional world of Valisthea, which is ruled by 6 nations with access to enchanted crystals and dominance. Humans who have the ability to harness the crystal's powers are casted aside as branded and forced to a life of slavery, and others act as hosts of each country's icon. Tensions between the nations deteriorate as a plague known as a blight begins to spread over the continent, and each nation is fighting over dominance of the mother crystals to help their own nations see prosperity and peace. In this game, we follow Clive Rossfield, who embarks on a vengeance journey to find the evil icon Ifrit after witnessing the destruction of his kingdom and the death of his younger brother. But what starts off as a simple revenge story slowly changes to a story of fighting for a choice to live a life you want to live for on your own terms. Now, to my surprise, and for many others, the story is very dark and a bleak one, in which may not be everyone's cup of tea. Like about 80% of this game is just tragedy after tragedy, with some lighthearted moments sprinkled here and there. For me, I love a dark and grim story. I eat that shit up. But after finishing this game, I definitely need a palate cleanser with something a little bit more lighthearted. But despite all that, I feel that the narrative was still able to express how devastating and brutal the world is without going too far. There are a lot of themes I noticed within the game that I think it handles really well. This game covers themes such as loss, revenge, grief, love, family, justice, and freedom, and the list goes on. I feel like people don't give the story enough credit, and just calling it too dark and bleak are not truly seeing the whole picture that this story has to offer. But then again, this kind of storytelling isn't for everyone. The cast of characters in this game are truly unforgettable. Our main cast that we follow, Clive, Jill, Cid, and of course all the dominants who are the iconic summons in past Final Fantasy games, are amazing. I found myself falling for everyone and learning about their motives, beliefs, and their backgrounds was such a fun experience. There are some characters that I wish we got more time with, but I hadn't fallen hard with a large cast like this in a long time. Everyone had their role and purpose. No one felt unnecessary or was a filler character. Even the side characters that we met along the way, like Martha, Quentin, Isabel, were a great addition to the story and added more to the lore and to the world of Valistia. And even with some of the side quests, I got to see all the characters fleshed out even more and added more to the story. Also, the voice acting in this game is top notch. I played with the English dub, and every actor deserves an award for their performance in this game. This should be the standard of what all English dubs should be. Now, I know many wish to go back to the days of turn-based combat, and I'm not going to be the one to say that turn-based combat is outdated, because it's not. The change to action-based combat was a welcome change to me in Final Fantasy XVI. The combat is fairly simple to understand, and how to use both magic and physical attacks was really fluid, and the combination of both different iconic powers was honestly a really fun and experience. Being able to experiment with different combos and obviously learning how to parry in this game was definitely a true testament of my gamer strength, but overall it was a really fun experience. For me, the gameplay definitely had its high and low moments. The highest most definitely are the icon fights. The Bahamut fight will forever live rent-free in my mind. But I do feel at times that it felt like I was watching a game rather than playing the game. As theatrical and breathtaking these fights were, I do wish that they allowed the player to engage a little bit more with the combat rather than just a quick action time button press from here and there. Also, as much as I like playing as Clive, I do wish we could have played as other characters in the game. Yes, I'm aware we kind of get to do that by getting some of the icon powers, but it would be nice to be able to play as Sid or Jill throughout the game, but that's just a small nitpick that I have. Now, as much as I want to praise this game, there are some faults that should be discussed. I do believe that this game suffers from some pacing issues. For the first 10 to 15 hours, it can be a little slow before the story really kicks in, and some of the side quests in the first half can be kind of fetch questy. But towards the second half of the game, the story picks up and the side quests get really good and add so much to the story and the characters. I honestly do feel bad for those who decided to skip out on the side quests because about only like 30% of them are boring. The rest really add to the story, flesh out some characters, and are really rewarding in the end. This game really surprised me and blew me out of the water. Throughout the whole journey, I was emotionally invested, and I know that this game will stay with me forever. I was expecting a good game, but I wasn't expecting to fall so hard for these characters, be so invested in the world in Valistia, and end up with my personal game of the year. I know we're only halfway through the year and my mind can change, but the memories and the fun that I had with this game will stay with me forever. This game is by no means perfect, but no game is, and all that matters is how you feel and that you enjoy the adventure you went along. So thanks again for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also comment down below whether or not Final Fantasy XVI was a hit or miss for you. In my eyes, this definitely was a hit, and I really enjoyed my time with this game. If you guys enjoyed my content, do not forget to follow and subscribe, as well as follow me on my other social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at the handle CozyVeggie. Thank you guys so much and have a good one. Bye.